Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. And it's now 10 a.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much for participating. And also, at this time, I'd like to do a call to the public. We will now have the call to the public to allow for any comments from the public. Please note that issues presented during the call to the public that are not on the agenda cannot be acted upon by the Board of Supervisors. For the items not on the agenda, individual supervisors may ask questions of the public but are prohibited by open meeting law from discussing or considering the item. Only the speaker who has been called upon is authorized to speak. To encourage and respect expression of all views, we ask that there are no disruptions. Individuals are limited to 3 minutes for their comments. Clerk Daly will explain how the public can provide their comments.
Thank you, Chair Begay. At this time, if there's anyone that would like to provide a comment, we have comment cards up at the table by the door. If you'd like me to read your comment for you, or there's not a whole lot of people in the room today, you can come up to the podium and make your comment as well. If you've joined by Zoom, you can hit the raise hand icon that looks like a hand if you hover towards the bottom of your screen. If you click on that, that will raise your hand and notify us that you would like to speak. If you've joined by telephone, you can hit *9 and that will raise your hand and notify us that you would like to speak.
Thank you, Clerk Daly.
And at this time, Chair Begay, we do not have any comment cards and there are no hands raised on the virtual format.
Let's give it a minute.
Okay. And there are no hands raised, Chair Begay.
Thank you, Clerk Daly. We will continue with our proclamation. We have two for item number 1, consideration possible action to approve a proclamation celebrating the 5th annual Matthew J. Bohem Memorial Williams Stand Down and Patriot Day Parade. And I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to Supervisor Hess.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it's my honor to introduce Roger Ely, who is the commander of the Military of the Purple Heart, Chapter 793. He's going to read us the proclamation, and then also he is going to lead us in the next couple of days. We have the stand down in Williams and then the Patriot Parade on Saturday. So with that, we'll read the proclamation. Then I do have the official proclamation in my hand, and if we'd like to get a photo afterwards, I would like to suggest that, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Ely?
There we go. Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the county for all the support you've had given us all these years, and also the fact that this is our 5th annual stand down and parade to support and honor our first responders on Patriot Day and our veterans, of course. So at this time, I'd like to read this proclamation. You have to forgive me, my cheaters are tinted today. Whereas approximately 9,000 military veterans live in Coconino County, and whereas these men and women voluntarily risked their lives in the protection, preservation, and defense of citizens, culture, and Constitution of the United States of America. And whereas Patriot Day occurs on September 11th of each year to honor the memory of the people killed in the September 11 attacks on the year of 2001. And whereas this year marks the 23rd anniversary of September 11th attacks on the United States, and whereas the purpose of the Matthew J. Brame Memorial Williams Stand Down is to connect the homeless and at-risk veterans and their families with the essential community services they need. And whereas this year's parade theme is Proud to be an American, in celebration and in dedication to our nation, we gather as Americans to honor the men and women who lost their lives 23 years ago in the September 11th attacks, and honor their families who continue to bear the burden of this fateful day. And whereas by taking care of veterans, we honor their commitment and sacrifice to defend the Constitution of the United States and to preserve the values we hold so dear that make us stronger as a community and as a common people. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Coconino County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2024 as Patriot Day and celebrate the 5th Annual Matthew J. Brame Memorial Williams Stand Down and Patriot Day Parade. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ely. Thank you for reading the proclamation. At this time, I will ask. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Now therefore be it resolved that the Coconino County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2024 as Patriot Day and celebrate the 5th Annual Matthew J. Brame Memorial Williams Stand Down and Patriot Day Parade, signed and sealed this 10th day of September 24, Coconino County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you, Supervisor Hess. At this time, I would like to have the opportunity to have the board members make comments. Supervisor Hess?
Thank you. I really appreciate you allowing me to go first, Chair. As a veteran, I remember where I was on September 11th. I was stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia, and I was actually the officer in charge of driver's training that day. Not a very exciting day. We were just gonna listen to people learn how to drive big trucks. And next thing I know, I got a text saying had been a plane crash. And like everybody, I was like confused. What do you mean? A couple minutes later, there was a second one. I got a second text, and I immediately turned to all the soldiers and I said, whoa, you probably need to go back to your units, talk to your commander, something's happening. And like good, fine soldiers, they all said, Roger that. They all returned and we started preparing. And as everybody, the confusion started going, but it was early, it was 9 something for me. So it was happening real time right when I got to work. And that kind of changed the rest of my career. I was a brand new second lieutenant, hadn't even got my platoon yet. And I thought we were going to war that minute. And I was going to be on staff. So everyone that's in the military understands that's not where you want to be. I wanted to be in my platoon. I got my platoon the next month, and I was part of the invasion in 03 with 3rd ID. So this holds pretty close and dear to my heart. I will be at the parade. I will be at the stand down like I always try to be. And I'm honored to read the proclamation at both events. So come out and see us, support those first responders. As you said, Roger, that's the first big thing. Is every soldier will say those first responders are the heroes. They were the ones that ran in there and did the work that so many people needed help with. So I'm just honored that you guys made this proclamation, and we'll see you guys there. And tomorrow is a big day. So there's a flag raising at Heritage Park. I just got that one. I'll be there. So if you can get, I think they're doing 9. Did you guys get the email? I think they're doing 9 different areas. So you can watch it on YouTube or Facebook. But if you can, get down to Heritage Square tomorrow also. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Hess. Any other comments by the board? Supervisor Vasquez.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for bringing the proclamation. Very important that we remember our history and that we honor those that are the first responders and the heroes that deal when things go really bad. And so it's just really important that in these times we recognize those folks who put their lives on the line, oftentimes come back traumatized from doing so, and provide them services and provide them a way to get on their feet, you know. And so thank you for everything you're doing on that front, and look forward to seeing some of the events. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Vasquez. Supervisor Fowler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for this proclamation and just really recognizing the first responders. They're the ones that are constant. They're there when there's a need, and we have really amazing first responders in Coconino County that we all work with, and just want to just think about them and recognize them and all our veterans. And it's just these stand downs are somewhat still new. You know, I remember, I think when it was first organized in the county with Supervisor Mandy Metzger at the time. And it was something new, and now it's spreading throughout our county. So I just want to thank you for that. And really working with our veterans, because when they come home, they really don't, they feel out of place. That security that they had, that closeness that they had, all of a sudden is gone. So, and then they have to really adjust to being in the community. And we have a veteran here with us, and we had the supervisor, Matt Ryan, former supervisor. He was our veteran. It's always good to have veterans on our board. So just want to, then we have our own staff that are veterans that are working every day on behalf of the community. Just want to just recognize all of them. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. I too would like to make a comment. I'm so glad that, we had this proclamation, for the fifth annual event that's going to be happening at the Stand Down and the Patriotic Day. I think that, a lot of times, we still don't have the required services that are needed by the veterans out there. A lot of them are still homeless, and their health care isn't really there. And, we're just on the reservation. I know a lot of our veterans are in a single hut, no running water, no electricity, and things like that. So that really bothers me as a board of supervisor. And I always think, how can we help? How can we help? They did their diligence, and why not? Why can't we do it? And, it really bothers you at a certain point in time. So I just want to say thank you for all the veterans that had gone, to war, and some that have been, administration, and, and then all of us, we had someone in our family that has been there. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. And certainly Saturday, we can go down there and be part of the stand down. We've been a part of the stand down for the last three years now, various places, Twin Arrows down, and here in Flagstaff. So I think it's a good event to attend, and there are a lot of good services that people provide. But the way I see it too is that a lot of them don't know how to fill out their own forms, and they really need help there. And I always wonder how we can do that to help, to really help them get to where they need to go. And some I know pick up applications and they don't turn it back in. So we need to do our part, in getting help for them. Thank you. With that, may I have a motion to approve the proclamation celebrating the 5th annual Matthew J. Bowen Memorial Williams Stand Down and a Patriot Day Parade?
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Hess. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Vasquez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Same. Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, we'll take a little break for a photo.
and again, on the Hopi Reservation. So we're very active, proactive in this, and Coconino County has been with us from day one. And we're very appreciative of the support that you give us and the level of support that you give. It's actually exceptional, and we thank you for that.
Thank you for being here, in-law. He's my in-law, so he needs that respect from everyone. No. Okay, thank you. Next, I have another proclamation. Consideration and possible action to approve a proclamation designating September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month. At this time, I'll turn it over to Krista.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm so honored to be here. My name is Krista Cedillo. I'm the Human Resources Director. I'm happy to be here to assist in presenting the proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month. Today we have with us Chair Patty Garcia from CHOC, who will be reading the proclamation along with Supervisor Vasquez. They will be sharing the duties today. So Chair Garcia, if you'd like to come up.
Thank you, Krista. Good morning, everyone. This is our Coconino County Proclamation designating September 15th through October 15th of 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is a month-long celebration of Hispanic and Latino history and culture and is important because it provides an opportunity to celebrate the integral part the Hispanic Latino community has had in growing and strengthening our democracy. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month provides an additional opportunity to explore the incredible impact Latinas and Latinos have had on the United States, Arizona, and Coconino County for generations. And whereas, in recognition of the 2024 Hispanic Heritage Month theme, Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together, Coconino County acknowledges how Latinos and Latinas are pioneers of change who are shaping the future with the spirit and innovation, resilience and unity that defines the Hispanic experience. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month began as a week-long celebration in 1968 under President Johnson and was expanded to a month by President Reagan 20 years later in 1988, the month-long celebration provides more time to properly recognize the significant contributions Hispanic Latino Americans have made in the United States. And
whereas Hispanic Heritage Month does not cover one single month, but instead begins in the middle of September and ends in the middle of October, because many Central American countries celebrate their Independence Days within these dates, beginning on September 15th, with Mexico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. And aligning with these independent states, Hispanic Heritage Month honors the resilience and determination of the Hispanic community. And whereas we will continue to advocate for Hispanics, Latinos, as representation matters, Latinos and Latinas continue to shape our nation as business owners, activists, artists, public servants, and more. From serving in the U.S. military to being champions in the fight for civil rights, Latinas and Latinos remain strong leaders and change makers. Now, therefore, we do hereby designate September 15th through October 15th, 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Coconino County and call upon all residents to reflect on and embrace the diversity that strengthens us as a country, state, and nation. Signed and sealed this day, 10 of September, 2024, Coconino County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you for reading the proclamation. And Are there any comments by the board this time? Supervisor Hess? Oh, Supervisor Vasquez, sorry.
Thank you. Um, it's always a good time of year in the fall. We just got through the summer, and then this celebration of Hispanic Latino culture in Coconino County is always for me a highlight in that transition. And so it's really thank you for the proclamation and give me the honor to read part of it. It missed Mexican in there, so I added it on the way through. But I thought the proclamation was well done, and you know there are so many contributions in the Southwest. The majority of Latinos are Mexican American, but over the last 20, 30 years, that demographic has changed, and Central Americans coming to the United States has grown. I was one of those early immigrants. My mom came from Guatemala in 1975, pregnant with me, and so I was born here and have the privilege of being a citizen. A lot of times, this month, people kind of put it as a melting pot, like it's just all one homogeneous group, and it's not. There's so many different cultures and so many different variations of the same thing. And it's beautiful. And so please take advantage of the events that are going to be happening both within the county and in the community, because it's a beautiful thing. And, you know, sometimes Latinos get forgotten about because, you know, a lot of our folks over time have always been the janitors, you know, the field workers, you know, and kind of get forgotten about. And so this is a time to kind of see some of the contributions that help make Flagstaff and Coconino County what it is and what it was. You know, the first Basque sheep herders in the 1800s. You know, the other day I was listening to some elders and they were telling us stories of areas out that Lake Mary used to be a sheep herding area for the Basque sheep herders. Some of these families, you know, that have just been here for years and years and years, and how the chronicles of Flagstaff don't tell it. There's not a single Mexican last name in those books about the history books of Flagstaff. And yet we're there. And it continues with the old families that have been here and the new immigrants that come and infuse those different aspects and elements. And the Latino presence in Coconino County now in 2024, compared to when I moved to Arizona and to Flagstaff in 1989, completely different. And but the same issues are there. Still have high dropout rates in high school. You know, things that the civil rights in the 60s were fighting for, we still have some of those same issues now. And so it's important to learn that history, understand that, and have those conversations so that we don't forget about it and our ancestral knowledge and history gets forgotten. So thank you, Chair Garcia, for being here. And if it's okay with the board, I'd like to give her an opportunity to speak.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that Supervisor Vasquez has said today. As you know, so often in the current environment, so much of what you hear about our Hispanic community is negative. And so I really encourage folks, as Supervisor Vasquez said, to take advantage of the events this month and even on your own to learn a little bit more about Hispanic culture, your neighbors, the friends around you, the folks that are working hard and often aren't really seen in our community. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Supervisor Fowler?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. And well, thank you for having this proclamation. And you know, all as minorities, I think we all been stomped over, and now you know we're continuing to do as our ancestors have done, raise their voices and just really moving forward. And I think it's really important that we honor them, and that's what you're doing here. And I really appreciate that. And yes, the um, the the heritage that and just the different cultures that exist here in Coconino County is just amazing. And I think that we need to even go so far as to rewrite um, the description about Coconino County in our comprehensive plan. And one of the things that I have trouble with is the Flagstaff Regional Plan. I just said it was not, it didn't have any color to it. It didn't, it kind of just misses who Flagstaff is. I think we've lost our way along the way with all the, not just not just Flagstaff, but I think we need a better historical description in all of our writings. I think as a government entity, as a public servants and serving the people, I think we need to serve them right. We even had, we even have a Japanese, in camp that was here in our county. I think it's really important to highlight that, just the mistreatment and the misunderstanding that has happened in our region, in our country. And today, I think it's just, we as citizens, we need to remember our history instead of erasing and not wanting to read about it. I think we need to learn more from it and do better in the future. So really appreciate you and having all the activities that are going to take place this month, within this time frame, but throughout the year. I really appreciate that, and I'm always invited to that. I try to make it to those events. So I would just say that we really need to look at our comprehensive plan and how we write about our citizens in our county and really point out some of the histories that has been done, that has taken place in our region here. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. Supervisor Hess?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. As you were reading through this, one of the biggest things I noticed, and Supervisor Vasquez stated it, is the recognition. I think recognition is a very powerful thing. I hesitate to call it a tool, but it's such a powerful thing that just can change people's perspective. And I really like that we, as Coconino County, are recognizing, and we say this every proclamation that does this, but I want to say it on this one. This is a very important thing that we recognize the people of all of our cultures, as stated. My oldest friend is Georgie Ramirez. And I grew up with him and his four brothers. And I guess I just missed the memo where I wasn't supposed to hang out with them and have him as my oldest friend. So I treasure that. And I really think that's the best thing about growing up here in our county is, it's there and it has to be recognized. But so many of us just have friends. I've known Geronimo Vasquez since, I don't know, 8th grade. Yeah. So the moment he moved here, he had to deal with me in wrestling practice. So I just want to thank you for the proclamation and the way we're stating as a county, as a board, that we would need to recognize the differences and also show that we care. So thank you for reading. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Supervisor Hess. I just want to say that, we're all five-fingered people. We need to get along. We need to know about each other. We need to work together. We just have to be nice to one another, respect one another, whatever it may be. I think that's a start, and support one another. That's very important. So all in all, I think we're kind of like, we're all over here, and here, and here, and we could do a lot together. And as I see this proclamation, that it is true, that, we're pretty much, people don't know about us, the culture we have, the traditions that we do. And, just like in Navajo, we have 4 clans that we respect because it's my mom's mother's clan and father's clan, and my dad's clan, and his father's clan. So they're all interrelated with us, so a lot of people don't know that. And so every person that you see is either your Nelly or your grandma or your sister or your aunt, your uncle, So those are, things that, a lot of people don't know about. And so I just want to say if we move forward and support one another, that's going to be a big thing. And not just talk about it, how are we going to do this, Lena and is my sister clan wise. We're the same clan. So, it's not nepotism, but it's, but where she has her mom and her location that she comes from. I can have another sister by clan, maybe from New Mexico or, somewhere else, because they're the same clan. So that's how we are. But I think, doing something from the county. I know a lot of things come to us, there's a lot of things that are going on. I think we really need to start looking at that. How do we integrate everything, everybody and everything? Doesn't matter who, we have, a lot going for us, our kids are going to school, NAU, and, they meet there, they're, everybody's welcome. But, how do we, make sure that, they're all treated the same way? That's one thing. So I just want to say thank you so much for the proclamation. It means a lot, to come forth and read the proclamation and make a comment. And likewise, my my colleagues here, thank you so much. And I forgot to, so that's it. Thank you. And then at this time, okay. Wait, what was your name? Krista. Okay. We have Krista. Okay.
Thank you, Madam. Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you. I wanted to introduce Citlali Mendoza, who is a part of our diversity committee here at the county. She's also a human resources technician and a member of our team. And she has our list of activities for the month that we wanted to cover. These will also be up on the human resources SharePoint page as well, but wanted to hand it over to Citlali.
Thank you. Good morning. So some of the events we'll have this month are on September Thursday, 19th, going to be labels. We're going to talk about all the different labels that surround the Hispanic Latino community, such as Hispanic, Latina, Latinx, Latine, and Indigenous too. And those are going to be videos. Then on Tuesday, September 24th, we're going to have the YouTube videos that talk about two sides of the borders, two different perspectives about the border. And then on Thursday, September 26th, we're going to have, we're going to walk to the historic Ice House. They're having the Immigration Papers exhibition, and it has art from different immigrant artists, I mean. And October, Wednesday 2nd, we're going to have a presentation by Supervisor Vasquez, the Mayan planetary science implications of the 1819 calendar. And then on Thursday, October 3rd, we're going to have the Afro Latino. It's a YouTube video that talks about the Afro Latino community in the United States. And on Tuesday, October 8th, we're going to have Alejandra Marin talk about Mexican cuisine. And on October 10th, we're going to have the I Am From Potluck here at the Admin Building. And the last one is going to be on Tuesday, October 15th. We're going to have Ofrendas 101 class presented by Becca Ceballos Talap from Nuestras Raíces. And on that day, we're also going to have the salsa competition that I hear is very popular here in the county. And yeah, those are all the events for Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all. We'll go ahead and go ahead.
I don't always get to see all of you, but I just wanted to say thank you for Sitlali, for Ashley, for Arena, for all the folks in our county leadership, like Erica, that help Chalk and help staff the diversity councils. There's so many people that help us, and we really appreciate that. And so I wanted to recognize them too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I think we'll go ahead and do the motion. And they have a motion to approve the proclamation designating September 15th through October 15th, 2024 as a Hispanic Heritage Month.
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Vasquez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. At this time, we'll take a little break for a photo op. Okay, moving on. Before we go into the consent agenda, Patrice Horseman isn't here today. She's in Washington, D.C. for an effort to reappropriate payment in lieu of taxes, which is the PILT and Secure Rural Schools funding. She's representing our Coconino County and working with the National Association of County Officials on this effort. So she is been excused for this meeting. Okay, we do have,
Should we excuse her or not?
so moving on, we do have consent agenda items.
Chair Begay, members of the board, we could make it contingent upon success. And so if the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act is
Yeah, exactly.
reappropriated.
The amount of money she
Yeah,
brings back.
Yeah,
We
sorry to
want the-
interrupt,
we
but
want the
but
bacon.
it's a very significant funding for rural counties, particularly in the western states. It has not yet been reappropriated. And those funds are utilized for roads and schools. So Coconino County utilizes this funding to fund a good portion of our superintendent of schools office. And then I see Christopher and Chad and our public works folks are here. We also utilize some of those funds for schools as well and attempt to use those on school bus routes. So thank you for allowing me to interject, but it's a very important effort that's taking place right now.
Thank you, County Manager Bertelson. We do have a consent agenda. We have items 1 through well, we did 1 and 2, so we're on 3 through 21. At this time, I'd like to ask any board member which items they would like to be considered separately.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'd like to have number 6 and number 19. Remove. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other ones?
Madam Chair, I would like to pull number 8 just for recognition.
Any other ones? Okay.
Madam Chair, with
So-
that, I'd like to move that we approve items from consent items from number 1 to 21, with the exception of number 6, 8, and 19.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Second by Supervisor Hess. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose, abstain, motion carries. And now we are on item number 6.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask Siri. Siri is our county finance director, and this has to do with property tax. And we are one of 15 counties in the state. And I wanted to see how we compare with all the other counties with our property tax. And then just the other taxes that when someone receives a property tax bill, what is all in there and how is that to be read? And I think we should create a little better understanding on where we are with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. And I'd also like to ask if there's anyone from the treasurer's office that also wants to add to my comments, if they can also be elevated as presenters. But the Supervisor Fowler makes a great point in terms of the property taxes that are collected by the Coconino County Treasurer's Office. Coconino County does have the lowest county primary property tax rate in the state of Arizona. And not only do we have the lowest, that rate continues to decline. So when we look at last year's primary property tax rate, that rate was it was 50 cents, just over 50 cents, 0.5009 per $100 of assessed value. As we look at the rate that's on the tax roll that is part of the item today, that rate is 0.4944 per $100 of assessed value. And the reason for that is that our property taxes are limited. There are many statutes that address property taxes in the state of Arizona. And one of those is a limit on the increase in the tax levy every year by counties. So what that means is that property tax values, the value that's being taxed, can increase at a higher rate than the levy itself can increase, which causes a decrease in the county's rate. So again, because of a lot of historical conservative practices by this board and really strong financial management, it has brought the county then to this position of having that lowest primary property tax rate in the state of Arizona. And the other thing I would point out then is to the question of the tax roll itself. When the taxes are being levied and collected, they are all collected by statute in the Coconino County Treasurer's Office, but then her office is charged with distributing those taxes out to all the taxing jurisdictions. So this board does not officially set every rate for every taxing entity. And the taxes that are applied to each property depend on the location of the property within Coconino County and the taxing districts that apply. But for every tax, or for every property rather, the majority of the property taxes that are actually paid to the county treasurer's office are distributed elsewhere. And we have education and school funding that is part of the tax roll. We also have, if you live in a municipality, they may have a property tax that gets distributed directly to that organization outside of Coconino County. There are fire districts, and there can be some other special taxing districts as well, again, just depending on the location of the property. So the majority of the property taxes paid by our citizens do not stay within Coconino County for our general fund, and in fact, they are distributed for other uses.
So that does mean that when we do collect for it is our duty to collect for the fire district, and it goes directly back to the fire district. We don't charge administrative fee, it's just a pass-through.
That is correct.
Okay, so that, I think it's important for us to just really understand how our taxes work and that we don't have control over and setting other property tax for school districts, stormwater within a municipality, or property tax within municipality and other others that may be approved by even taxpayers. So the only one that we have is just our primary property tax, which is 0.4944.
That's a good memory.
Yeah. So, and I think it's really important because people keep saying that our property bill keeps going up, and I'm thinking, okay, ours is going down, how is yours going up? So we gotta look at your whole, property tax. And if you have questions on your property tax, please contact us, and we'd be able to go over the property tax bill with you. Andy?
Thank you Supervisor Fowler, Chair Begay, members of the board. I just want to add, cannot speak for the treasurer by any means, but I can speak to the Coconino County organization as a whole. The property taxes that are collected are distributed to those taxing jurisdictions, first and foremost, whether it's education for schools, safe drinking water for special water districts, safe wastewater collection, fire districts are those taxing districts throughout the county. So I think it's fair to say and safe to say, and I think we should say that those tax dollars collected equal service to the community, whether we, Coconino County, are providing that service or the taxing jurisdictions are providing that service. For Coconino County, we do have not the lowest, the second lowest property tax rate in the state of Arizona. And so our revenues are restricted, and Coconino County makes through conservative financial planning, we make the best of those revenues and utilize them in the best way possible for all of our services, whether it's sheriff, deputies out in the field serving our community, our court system, and even our system here in managing our local government. We make the best of those dollars to serve our communities. So thank you for the question, and just wanted to say thanks to the treasurer's office. Sarah Benatar is very active as a leader in our state of Arizona as a treasurer, and we have all the way through all of our elected officials to the Board of Supervisors, good elected leadership that represents our state very well. So thank you.
And Chair, if I can add one more thing, you will see on the next meeting as well an adjustment to the rates that were set. We had a statutory deadline of August for setting all of the tax rate or adopting all of the tax rates as provided by the districts. We have since been informed there are a few school districts that need to adjust the rates that were presented. And so the meeting on the 17th will adjust those rates. And again, if anyone from the treasurer's office wants to add to this, but they have let us know that they have not printed the tax bills yet, so there will not be a cost impact to making the change. It's just a correction that is needed to make sure that what was in our resolution matches what the schools should have been adopting as their rates back in August. So I believe there at this point we are looking at possibly 2 to maybe 3 districts with adjustments to the rates.
And thank you, Sari, and thank you, Chair Begay, Supervisor Fowler, members of the board. And that's really the checks and balance in the system. So all of the taxing jurisdictions, whether it's the school districts that sets their rates, and they look at those rates and the amount of revenues generated from those rates, our treasurer's office offers the checks and balance to ensure that all of that information is correct, as well as Siri in our finance department. So we have those checks and balances in the system to ensure that the rates being assigned are correct and they equal the amount of revenue being generated for those districts to operate, in this case, for the schools, provide education to our community.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? For the board? Thank you, Siri, for your presentation.
Thank you.
And County Manager Burleson. At this time, I would like to ask her for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve item number 6.
Is there a second?
Second.
Supervisor Vasquez. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Okay, we're going to item number 8. Supervisor Hess?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take a minute to recognize the appointment of Adam Zickerman as the Justice of Peace for Williams Justice Court. I think that's a quite accomplishment. It's not easy to get people in there, and because of the funding is different for the Justice Peace. And I just want to take a second to publicly announce that we've appointed Adam Zickerman. So at that time, I'd like to make a motion to consider and possible action to approve the appointment of Adam Zickerman as the Justice of Peace pro tempore for the Williams Justice Court.
Second?
Okay, motion made by Supervisor Hess, second by Supervisor Fowler. Are any other comments by the board? Or board mate wish any other comments? Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, abstain, motion carries. We are on item number 19. Wilson?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and I'm pleased to announce Christopher Tressler, our Public Works Director. And Christopher wants to take the opportunity, or would like to take the opportunity to talk about our various road maintenance agreements. We have our county road system in which we maintain the roads that the county holds as county roads. We also have our agreement with BIA to maintain 286. Thank you, Christopher Miles, on the Navajo Nation. And then we also have the agreement with the U.S. Forest Service to maintain roads that are on what we call the Schedule A road maintenance agreement. A lot of history associated with this road maintenance agreement. And these roads are heavily utilized by our community, and frankly, the community counts on Coconino County to be able to provide the services to these roads. So with that, Christopher.
Thanks, Andy. So yes, I'm Christopher Tressler. I serve as the Public Works Director. Madam Chair, members of the board, before you today is an agreement with the Forest Service, and it's known as our Schedule A agreement. And this is a long-standing agreement that we've had with the National Forest Service to help maintain roads that are of significant importance to the residents in and around the county that typically border National Forest Service lands. The agreement is renewed about every 5 years. And this time it was a significant revision to the agreement. John O'Brien with the Forest Service was retiring, and he held a lot of institutional knowledge. And so we took that opportunity to really vet the agreement. We hold permits and easements through things like highway easement deeds and other mechanisms that may not need to be on this Schedule A agreement. It's more of a general agreement for roads. It represents just a little more than 121 miles of roads throughout the county that the Forest Service has jurisdiction of. These roads are important to maintaining public safety and access for emergency services. It also promotes tourism and recreation in areas that the Forest Service frankly just doesn't have the resources to maintain at the service level that is important for us at the county to maintain them at. An important road that is new to this agreement is Woody Mountain Road. And I think some of you recently were on a tour to the Rogers Lake natural area, and you may have experienced how bumpy that road is. And we are taking off a road from the county's maintained road inventory. It's Buggy Wheel Road, and it's somewhat of an exchange that we're removing Buggy Wheel Road. That on Buggy Wheel Road, there used to be a transfer station. There used to be a need for the county to maintain that. There's no longer the nexus for us to maintain Buggy Wheel Road, and it seems appropriate that we would take over Woody Mountain Road. And so that's a new road as part of this agreement. We've been working with the Forest Service to develop plans for the improvement of that road, and also that Woody Mountain Road supports the Arboretum. Arboretum was recently awarded a grant, so we'll be able to match funds and help with the improvement of that road from there as well. We do receive HURF funds, or Highway User Revenue Funds. It's a gas tax to maintain these roads from the state. And these roads help further, and this agreement helps further our partnership with the U.S. Forest Service. I want to take this opportunity also to note that Proposition 482, it's our addresses our expenditure limit, and it's not a tax, but for us to maintain these roads, even these roads with the Forest Service, it's important that we educate and people understand that we're able to maintain these roads and that Prop 482 is connected to this type of service. With that, Madam Chair, I can take any questions that there may be.
Thank you, Mr. Tressler. Is there any questions by the board, comments by the board on this side? Supervisor Hess?
Yes, Christopher, when are we starting to take over Woody Mountain Road?
Madam Chair and Supervisor Hess, it's the Forest Service has already assigned this agreement. And so with approval, we could start practically immediately. We're trying to develop a material pit with the Forest Service. This particular road, there's it's down to bedrock, if you will, and we need to haul material in. So it is going to take some time to develop this material pit, but within weeks we could have equipment on the road.
And the question also is, how far is it going in? Where's it going to end?
So it's the road that the portion of the road that we'll take over is at the end of the City of Flagstaff portion. And it's right around Purple Sage, where Purple Sage meets it. Then it's going to extend just past the Rogers Lake property. There's a Y in the road past it, and we'll maintain to that cattle guard at the end of that.
Okay, Supervisor Fowler?
That's great. That's quite a ways out there. That road really needs it. And we have our new proposed project that's going in out there, so it's really good that we're taking on that road. So that's really good. This is a long-standing agreement that with the Forest Service. It's amazing how much we work in all the various projects with the Forest Service. We can't do without them, and it's always this partnership that we have. And so, they explain more about how how roads impact our expenditure limit. We have certain dollars that we have we had Proposition 403 that was approved, and then we have the HERB dollars. And so that we learn impacts our expenditure limit. Prior, I don't think it was there. And then all of a sudden that is, we have revenue, but we cannot spend it because we can only expend a certain amount. And so for that reason, we are going to be going to our voters in Coconino County on the general election ballot, November 5th, asking for an increase on the expenditure limit of $7.7 million. Now, when you talk about having the roads impact that expenditure limit, explain to us, tell us how does that impact that? What does that mean?
Chair Begay and Supervisor Fowler, thanks for that question. Well, Public Works is funded by road maintenance sales tax, what is also sometimes referred to as Prop 403. Then we also have highway user revenue funds. That's the gas tax. And then we get a portion of vehicle license tax. With the road maintenance sales tax and then the other transportation fund revenues, it's about $25 million. And we've been, it's advantageous for us to have passed that road maintenance sales tax. The revenues that we've received from that have raced us towards our expenditure limit. And not all, it's about $25 million a year. Not all of that counts towards the expenditure limit, but a portion of it does, a significant portion of it does. And so the Prop 482, that'll be on the ballot in November. It's not a tax, but it allows the state to set a limit on the number of dollars that the county's allowed to spend in a given year. And while we're asking for, it's less than $10 million increase, with it through inflation and other escalators or inflators, it represents a larger portion of the money. So we use these dollars to help maintain roads, to complete capital improvement projects, to provide the level of service through the wintertime that residents have come to expect. And so we're not looking to raise taxes with our expenditure limit increase. That we believe the revenues that we're receiving now will help us maintain the road network, at least for the next 10 years, at the level of service that we've been experiencing.
Thank you. I think that we need to understand how these essential services that are provided by the county in all areas throughout Coconino County are impacted by the expenditure limit, including our roads and our agreements such as this with the Forest Service and BIA roads were just mentioned on Navajo Nation, 286 miles of roads. That's also impacted by the expenditure limit. So I think it's really important for us to further understand how it impacts the direct services to our residents in our county. Now back to the Forest Service agreement. How does now this agreement with the Forest Service, what is the process in identifying these roads?
Chair Begay and Supervisor Fowler, these roads have been on the inventory for many, many years, and we've not modified with the addition of Woody Mountain Road. We haven't increased or decreased the roads, but we identify in the future, or in cases like Woody Mountain Road, we identify the need to the citizens and the need for the traveling public, and we look at what our financial resources are and what we can do. That area is in kind of a threshold of where it's coming from a more rural area, and as homes were being built and as people discover the recreational opportunities of that area, that it's being used more and more and more. And so we will evaluate at Public Works and with the engineers the level of service we're able to provide, the amount of traffic. We're constantly or annually conducting traffic counts to identify how many cars are traveling each of our roads and where we need to spend resources. And so we take a science and analysis-backed approach to analyzing the needs of the county, and it relates to the volume of traffic, the safety of those areas, and the need for emergency services as well.
Thank you. Any other comments by the board? Supervisor Vasquez?
Just looking forward to Woody Mountain Road being upgraded. The road to, I think the usage of the Frontier property, as the Parks and Rec Department plans on doing once that road is upgraded and upkept, I think the use there will increase tremendously, because it's a great area, but that road as it currently is rough. So thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Harris? Thank you, Mr. Tressler. I want to also say that, I think the expenditure limit will really help us to provide services over and beyond, and, continue with the services that we have. So it doesn't, again, increase any taxes or anything like that. So we just want to make sure that, we continue to educate and, go out to the public and ensure that, everything is going out to. And so thank you so much.
Chair Begay, members of the board, thank you, Christopher, and Supervisor Vasquez, to your comments on Woody Mountain Road. A lot of activity off of Woody Mountain Road. For example, you had given the example of the Frontier property. Also, there's a Coconino County open space of Rogers Lake, and also there's the Arboretum of Flagstaff. And we know that as the city of Flagstaff has developed, the area that is part of that development is on that west side of our community. And so that has caused us to see an increased traffic pattern on Woody Mountain Road as people utilize that road to access open space and sort of get out of the city, if you will, and enjoy the areas of Coconino County that we all know so very well. Also to note, and thank you Supervisor Fowler for the questions, with Proposition 482 and the expenditure limitation base override. We know that we have the road maintenance sales tax. Proposition 403 was approved by the voters in 2014 with the understanding that we would be expending those funds for road maintenance all throughout the county on the roads that we maintain. Currently, in order to expend those funds, we are required to issue debt and then pay essentially the interest on that debt to be able to expend it. And quite frankly, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to issue debt to expend funds that we already have in our coffers. And so that has been sort of a practice that we've had to engage in. And so with Prop 482, that is the educational effort that's taking place right now with that. So thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Fowler?
I think it's interesting to note that we don't just work with just one Forest Service. So we have Coconino National Forest Service, Kaibab National Forest Service, we have Apache Seagrave National Forest Service, and Prescott National Forest Service. So these roads are maintained where throughout our county. I know that we're up in the Forest Lake area as well. So that's for that reason, except in District 5. There are no roads maintained in District 5. And there's no, from it on the Forest Service anyway, we have the BIA roads on in District 5, but not the Forest Service or unincorporated communities. So I just wanted to mention that. And then it just goes back to Supervisor Horseman. We were teasing her being in DC and bringing something back, but you know, it is really important, the mission that she's on right now. And it's really important that we have representation at the table and where she is right now, advocating for the PILT funding as well as SRS. That has a direct impact on our roads. Part of those fundings that we receive annually goes to the schools as well as these roads that we're talking about. So I think it's really important that she's on a very important mission, and we really want to thank her for being out there, and just it just goes to show right here just the amount of work that is done with all these agencies. So Coconino County, it's always partnership. We can't do our work without partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. Go ahead.
Thank
County
you,
Manager.
Supervisor Fowler, members of the board. And I think that is the word, partnership. There's nothing that Coconino County doesn't do that doesn't require it. And so it's incumbent upon us, particularly road maintenance, to work with Arizona Department of Transportation, both the Kaibab National Forest, Coconino National Forest, Navajo Nation, Navajo Department of Transportation, as well as the BIA and the road maintenance agreement. And so that's just indicative of all county services and the partnership that we maintain throughout the entirety of the county is really reflected here.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the presentation. So that was discussion on item number 19, consideration possible action to approve, accept the renewal of the cooperative forest road agreement between the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Forest Service, and Coconino County Public Works Department for a term of 5 years. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion. Supervisor Fowler, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Hess. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Same. Motion carries. Okay, it passed. Now we will go into resolve as a jail district board of directors. May I have a motion to resolve as a jail district board of directors?
So moved.
Motion made by Supervisor Hess. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Fowler. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, jail, we are now, we are now on the jail district consent agenda. We do have one item. Is there a motion to approve, or do we wish to discuss this?
I move that we approve item number 22.
Okay. A
I'll sec-
motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Supervisor Hess. And this is consideration and possible action, approve Amendment 1 to the independent contract with Kenny Construction Company Services Incorporated and associated budget adjustment of $253,778.70 to increase the amount of contract from $2,918,565 to can't even read this. But anyway, to provide design services and pre-construction services resulting in a successfully executed Coconino County Jail District Intake Remodel and Medical Unit Expansion Project for FY 2025. Okay, motion's been made. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Same motion carries. We are done with our consent giant item. Now I have a motion to resolve as a Board of Supervisors.
Second.
Motion by Director Fowler and seconded by Director Hess. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're at the discussion items. Item number 23, County Manager.
Thank you, Chair Begay, members of the board. I'd like to introduce Keith Breckus to give the federal legislative as well as state updates on legislative affairs. Gregory Nelson, our legislative affairs director, is with Vice Chair Horseman in Washington, D.C. I have to admit, since Gregory's been out both last week taking some time for himself and then this week in Washington, I'm feeling a bit intellectually challenged without Gregory in the office. But I think Keith is going to be able to fill us in on all the happenings that are taking place. So thank you.
Sorry, can you hear me better now? Apologize for that. I'll just repeat that Supervisor Horseman and our Superintendent of Schools, Cheryl Mango Paget, are in DC, and we're advocating for, it's part of the NACO PILT fly-in, but we're also advocating for funding of SRS, which is Secure Rural Schools funding. It's important funding for the county, and right now it's not funded in the next budget, and our county takes a pretty big hit if that isn't funded. So we're talking to our representatives and members of the Arizona delegation to ensure that they understand the importance of that for Coconino County as well as other rural counties in the West. So they met today with the senators as well as some of the reps from the Arizona delegation, not only our Representative Crane, but also Representative Gallego and Representative Siscomani. That's on the federal side, that's what we're working on. Supervisor Horstman's also presenting on Friday at the with NACO, with the Public Lands Institute that they're putting together. She'll give a presentation there along with Craig Sullivan from CSA in Arizona. So that's something that's being launched. And so we're looking forward to that. On the state front, I spoke with our lobbyist, Karen Cruz, yesterday. She has a meeting next week with the governor's office with Marge Zyla, and they're going to look at sort of the budget situation, but the expectation right now is that it'll still be a tight budget next year. So some of our funding requests, things like DFFM and stuff, may still be a challenge. They don't know yet, but we expect that'll be a tight budget. They're probably not going to be making additional cuts, but they're probably not going to be adding programs either. So we'll have to navigate that and see if there's potential funding resources for some of our requests next year, but it may be a challenge. As far as upcoming events, I guess next month, couple big things for us. We have the CSA Summit in Pinal County, where we can look at sort of the agenda as far as the state agenda going forward, what our counties are doing, what CSA is doing, and what's going to be perhaps on the agenda for next year. We also have the Rural Transportation Summit in Prescott next month, so we can advocate for some of our transportation priorities there as well. I think a lot of things will shake out later this year. We're in a competitive political environment, so what we can push for may depend both on the state and national level, how things shake down in terms of partisan breakdown and which members of the parties get on leadership committees and stuff. So we'll probably have a better idea of what we'll be able to advocate for and where the pressure points are after the November election. But certainly one of the things we're going to try to do is meet with the people we expect to be in our delegation. Did talk to Karen Cruz. I've talked to Chair Begay about setting up meetings with some of our state lawmakers. I think in both the LD6 and LD7 districts, we probably know who's going to be representing us since those are non-competitive districts. So we'll do outreach to those individuals in the legislature on both sides of the aisle to kind of express our priorities with transportation and with wildfire and flood mitigation and things like that. And other than that, unless people have questions, I'll leave it there and be mercifully brief.
Other questions by the board? Comments? Supervisor Fowler?
So, so this is just on the federal side that we're really trying to, I know we have our state, this past, how many of the the state legislators did something different this year, which is unusual, but maybe it's becoming, it's that back to the partisanship. Instead of sending their legislation to the governor, they avoided her veto, and they're sending bills directly to the ballot, to the voters. How many are there that are going to be on the ballot, which now is going to be several pages long, the ballot, which kind of confuses voters as well. So I'm just wondering how many legislations went to the voters rather than having them do their job. Instead, they're just sending these out into the to the voters.
Yeah, there are a bunch of ballot voter referrals. I can't remember now if it's 11 or 13.
Thank you, Keith. I believe there are 13.
13, yeah.
Items that will be on the ballot. To note, there is the Secretary of State is putting on a town hall at Coconino Center for the Arts on September 21st, in which 2 of those issues will be discussed. one being the abortion issue that was put on the ballot, as well as election reform. So those are the two that will be discussed at this town hall. But yes, there are 13 items placed on the ballot by the state of Arizona.
Yeah, but several of them, like you mentioned, were put on there by the legislature. And then a couple, like the abortion one, were put on by citizen initiative. But it will be a long ballot. It's, I think, 4 pages or 2 front backs. So there will be probably, could be delays in terms of getting, in terms of the speed at which people vote and in terms at which votes get counted, processing delays. I know our county is well prepared and has a lot of people. I'm sure they can still use more help, but we didn't have any delays during the primary. The general election might be a different story just because of the longer ballot and higher turnout, but there will be a lot for people to, I guess, filter through or study up on, because there's plenty of ballot measures, including also the local ones that we've put on, like the expenditure limit and stuff, which will be pretty far down the ballot.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Item number 24, County Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. This item will be discussing our planning calendar, and there's Lindsay pulling up the planning calendar. So today is September 10th. Tomorrow, to note, is September 11th. So 23 years to the day. Supervisor Hess had noted we had gotten an email from Janet Dean with Arizona Public Service. They're sponsoring an event at Heritage Square at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and so that's an event you may want to attend. I don't believe we have a quorum posting, as we just learned about it late breaking yesterday afternoon. But either way, just so everyone takes the time to honor the significance of the day, and however you choose to do that is appropriate. So thank you for that recognition. September 13th, Friday, is the United Way campaign kickoff. That will be campaign breakfast at 8:30 a.m. located at, where's it? Thank you, at NAU. Is that at the High Country Conference Center? So thank you. Worthy of note, on Thursday, you may have remembered I had a little incident at the last board meeting in which I had some infection that I needed to address. I am working on getting that permanently addressed on Thursday afternoon and removing the infection point. And it may be I will be having a procedure on Thursday. Intend to be back in action pretty quickly after that, but it's just wanted to let you know that. I apologize for not being available on Thursday afternoon, and Erica and I are discussing how to pivot and move forward. Kim will be returning to the community on Thursday, so, and Lucinda will be here as well. Worthy of note to Lucinda, it is her birthday today, so we'll be celebrating Lucinda's birthday. To you, happy birthday to you. So it's Lucinda's birthday today. Also on September 13th, Supervisor Hess will be attending the Williams Stand Down event at the Williams Rec Center. They will also be having a parade. Also on September 13th, this weekend, we have the Pickin' in the Pines event. And also worthy of note is the Western Navajo Agency Council meeting in Kayenta. I believe we are on the agenda. So looking forward to that day as well. I believe we're on the agenda for 9 a.m. And again, the daylight standard time is a factor in that meeting time. So we're early in the agenda. So we're looking forward to that opportunity. Next week, September 17th, you'll note that we have the start time of 6 p.m. The reason for this start time is there is an NAU voter initiative taking place that Esler Mustar, elections director, has let us know about. We'll probably need to get this on the planning calendar for a quorum as well. We'll know more as we get closer to that date, but it's a voter I believe it's a voter turnout, town hall election conference 4 to 6 at NAU. And as we know, the NAU community is so important to our Coconino County community with that. So we also have Navajo Department of Transportation that will be here that evening, and that's definitely a highlight item for us. We're really looking forward to having that conversation. And then the elections discussion. I don't know if we'll have this item or not, Lindsay, given that we have the NAU Town Hall election conference, but we'll continue to work with Essler on that. And now we get into September 19th, which is Thursday of next week. The Medium County Caucus and the County Supervisors Association meetings are beginning to ramp up again. I had noted on September 21st, which is a Saturday, from 11 to 1, the Secretary of State Town Hall on the state ballot initiatives. And it's propositions 139 and 140. Those are the two initiatives that were put on the ballot by citizen petition, one related to abortion and the other on election reform. And so those are two that were put on by petition, and then the state of Arizona referred 11 items to the ballot. September, where are we, Lindsay? September 24th. Oh, thank you. Jumping ahead. September 23rd is the joint City of Flagstaff County meeting. That's on a Monday. That begins at 3 o'clock. We'll do a regional plan update as well as the water settlement presentation by Robert Kirk. So that will be an opportunity to hear about the water settlement that you've probably heard about in the news and we've been tracking, but that's an opportunity. Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. And with that, we also, I think, do a roundtable at that meeting. So any items that you believe worthy of note to the broader community, that will be a good roundtable for us to have. In the roundtable, if given the opportunity, is any managers updates, we'll talk about the November 5th election and our preparedness for that election, polling place locations, etc. Jumping to September 24th, we have the National Public Service Awards at Fort Tuthill Amphitheater. That begins at 9 o'clock. That's always a great event. And hopefully this weather holds, because it's going to be awesome to be outside for a few hours and just look around and appreciate where we are and who we are. So we also have proclamation on national public lands, and then we'll give an update on the expenditure limitation before we get in the roundtable. On September 26th, that's Thursday, in a couple of weeks, we'll have the ballot question open house from 5 to 7 at the City of Flagstaff Aquaplex. That will include all of the local agencies that will have initiatives on the ballot. That includes Coconino County with Proposition 482, the expenditure limitation permanent base adjustment, as well as Mountain Lion with their tax renewal question, and the City of Flagstaff with their BB&B or Bed, Board, and Booze tax renewal question that will be on the ballot. And that takes us to October. Are there any questions or any items worthy of note for September? Okay, October. So an item on October 1st we're looking forward to is the Health and Human Services Program overview. It's always good to get an update from our Health and Human Services on all of the items that we have going, as well as a workforce development presentation. And then Gregory and Keith will be talking about our CSA Summit proposals. CSA being County Supervisors Association, in preparation for the County Supervisors Association meeting October 7th through the 9th, I believe. That's a Monday through Wednesday. We also have for those that will be attending the National Association of Counties Western Group WIR meeting on October 3rd through the 6th. So that's prior to the County Supervisors Association Legislative Conference. And then, of course, there's the Navajo Bridge Star Party. We do have a quorum posted for that October 4th through the 6th. That is a Friday through Sunday. Weekend event. Any questions? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Chair Begay. And so if not, no questions, I think we'll just continue through October, which will be here before we know it. We have a community development public hearing on an appeal of a wireless broadband tower, the Winona broadband tower case. I believe this one is located approximately near the Star School off of Loop Road. And there are some local residents that have filed an appeal to that. So we'll learn more as we get closer to that time. And then there's a rural transportation summit in Prescott. Supervisor Vasquez, I don't know if you plan on attending that or not yet. Sounds like you are. Yeah. So, and then of course, Northern Arizona University Homecoming Parade. Homecoming is October 19th. And then we're really very much looking forward to, during that same time frame, the Western Navajo Fair, October 17th through the 20th. 17th is a Thursday. I believe that's Kids Day. And we met yesterday to talk about the festivities that we have prepared for that with a grader from Public Works for Kids Day. We'll have a booth, and we'll have some radio spots as well. And I understand Ice Cube is going to be at Western Navajo Fair on Sunday night. So there's some really funny videos. Yeah. Yeah. That takes us to many of our, yeah. Yeah. Any questions? We'll talk about it over lunch, and sure there are a couple of us that could give you a full history dating back, so, and how we were impacted in our childhood. So yeah.
Andy, I just want to mention that we moved our Star Party to October 25th and 26th.
Okay, thank you for that update. Let's see, because we have, so we'll note that, Lindsay. Yep, we have October 4th through the 6th, so we'll push that to 24th through the 26th. And then I believe the next weekend is the Page Balloon Regatta. So a lot happening in Northern Arizona. Yeah, but the Balloon Regatta is October 31st through November 2nd, and that's just prior to the big day of November 5th, or Election Day.
Yeah, and right before the Balloon Regatta, we have our summit that we're doing, which is the county or canyons merging beneath the stars outdoor recreation summit. And that's going to be in Page at the Marriott. And John has been, and we have a whole team that is working on it from Navajo Nation, Coconino, and City of Page, and the Kane County and Kanab.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. And the dates for that are?
It is October 28th to the 30th.
Okay.
And then right after that, Balloon Regatta starts.
Yep. So that gets us to Election Day. And then the week following Election Day, we have the Veterans Day observed holiday of November 11th. That's a Monday. And then we hope to canvass the election on November 15th, that following Friday.
And we have our National Veterans Green Light also from November 4th to November 11th. That's all the counties throughout the country as part of the NACO initiative to recognize veterans. And that's, so our facility usually puts up green lights.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. In the past, we have switched out some of the bulbs in our county facilities to green lights, so we'll need to note that with our facilities group, Tara and Tom, and we'll plan to do the same for this year as well for Operation Green Light. So Lindsay, do you mind scrolling down a bit? We have November 12th, looks like there's a community development public hearing on the zone change in Munns Park. Learn more about that as we get closer to the time, and then canvassing the election. And then on the 16th, we have the Astronomy Discovery Center grand opening celebration at Lola Observatory. So that will be a large-scale community event lasting all day into the evening. Facilities Master Plan update on November 19th, November 21st, Medium County Caucus and County Supervisors Association meeting. And then leading into the holiday season, we as staff would love an opportunity to get together with the board members to have a retreat and discuss our planning going forward, particularly after our election on November 5th and planning for our future with financial planning and mission, vision, values, strategic planning, and all of our initiatives going forward. It's going to be a really great opportunity for all of us to connect. I think I'll stop there unless I keep going, Lindsay. Yeah, do you have anything? Okay, thank you. Erica, what'd I miss? So, thank you. Yeah, oh, and then all the tree lighting celebrations that will be taking place throughout our communities in December to celebrate the holiday season.
So item number 25.
Item 25, I believe I think that covers it between our legislative updates and then our planning calendar. I believe that I'll defer to you, the board, for your roundtable discussions.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. This time we do have the roundtable, and the last meeting we had a long report. I don't know if we can just go ahead and ask the board if what they would like to share at this time, and just open the floor. Supervisor Hess?
Yes, we've gone over it many times, but just want to again bring up all the veteran stuff that's happening Friday and Saturday. And also September 11th. So we've already stated I want to be at the flag raising tomorrow. If anyone else is going, yes, we'll have to push for quorum, but I would like to go to that, County Manager. And then also, you said you were going to be in Williams with me? Okay. So we know we got at least one going to Williams. So that's all I got. Oh, you want to go too? Okay. So we'll probably need a quorum for those. Awesome. So that's all I have is the upcoming events just this week. And I think that's enough for me. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else? Supervisor Vasquez?
Sure, thank you. So I was thinking it's only been 2 weeks. I didn't do that much. And I started writing my list. And I was like, oh, wow, had a lot happen. So I'm going to run through it just because there's some cool things that have gone through. Had this weekend, the Coconino Center for the Arts had their 40th year anniversary festival. They had a dinner Friday night and then activities Saturday and finalized with a music concert on Sunday. It was pretty cool. I came at the end and I saw 4 bands and 3 of them were friends of mine. So that was kind of cool. And so really enjoyed it and want to give a shout out to Coconino Center for the Arts. Another big one that we did was just last week was or was it the week before? Liz Archuleta's celebration for being appointed to the Arizona Board of Regents. And so that was cool and got to have dinner with several old colleagues and current colleagues and other folks in the community, all to celebrate that achievement for my predecessor, Liz Archuleta. Also had the opportunity to go to Page and surprise Supervisor Fowler and with Supervisor Hess, and we went and participated in the Service Recognition Awards in Page, and so that was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, I had the opportunity to go try out the relative new patrol boat for the sheriff on Lake Powell. And so we've been talking about it for a while, and so they offered up the opportunity. I took it, and it was well worth the tour. I hope my colleagues will get the opportunity to do it sometime, because it was a lot of fun. Let's see. And then the big one would be the county fair, obviously. And that was a great time. And thank you, everybody, Parks and Rec and all the staff and volunteers who made that such a great event. Had a lot of fun, great musical acts, and look forward to next year, because the 75th annual was quite a show. We had a lot of fun, and we had the opportunity to educate the community about expenditure limit and different services that the county provides. And so we can make awareness about what we're talking about when we talk about the expenditure limit, and how it's not a tax increase, just gives us the authority to spend money we already have. And so that's been an ongoing theme lately, because this is going to the voters, and so we want to make sure that our voters are well informed so they can make their own decision on what they think is best. Then the other, I guess, attended the morning breakfast yesterday with the president, NAU, the community breakfast with Supervisor Hess. And it was a really cool presentation about AI and how it's changing education and how it's being applied at NAU. Several of our staff leaders were there as well on the leadership team. And so we were having conversations about how we can use AI to be more productive without losing our humanity, and without letting artificial intelligence dumb down our critical thinking skills, finding that right balance. And so good conversation, definitely something that's not going away. So we have to figure out how we maximize its use without letting it become a crutch for our staff. And then the last part that was, we've been working on some housing. Last week we went to a workforce housing meeting at City Hall with some of our alliance partners, City of Flagstaff, NAU, CCC, Mountain Lion. I don't know if I missed anybody. No? And so at that meeting, we learned about the Coconino County Industrial Development Authority, and it's a program that uses certain fundings to finance different industrial developments, including housing. So we're looking at ways that we can find projects that we can collaborate on to see how we can work on the housing issue, both here in Flagstaff, but countywide as well, because it's an issue throughout our county. And then finally, that led into last night, which was a surprise. Just out of the blue, I ran into a staff member who's going to this event at the Aquaplex about housing. And it turned out to be Tom Perez, the senior advisor to the White House and the director of the White House's Intergovernmental Affairs Office. And he was meeting with the city of Flagstaff and several different community organizations about how they spent their ARPA dollars around housing. And so it was a really cool conversation. And afterwards, I was invited to have dinner with them. And so I got to spend some time and learn more about some of their work. And so it was really cool. And it was been a lot happening in 2 weeks. So we're back in the grind, but things overall are good, and some things to look out for. We do have the Sunnyside Neighborhood Association meeting this Thursday at the 3rd Street County Building at 6 o'clock. So if you can attend, that would be great. And I think I'll leave it at, oh, the other thing is I'm going down to Phoenix on Thursday because the Secretary of Agriculture will be in Phoenix for a town hall. And so I have the opportunity to go listen to him speak and hopefully invite him to come see all the great work that we've done with the federal funds that came from his department. So, all right, with that, I'll close it out. Thank you.
Supervisor Fowler.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to recognize, and I'm happy that that Adam Supervisor has brought back to my attention is that our county extension director, Heidi Bruns, is going to be retiring. She's brought master gardening across Coconino. I know it was offered in Tuba City once, and then Page, and also here in the county, in Flagstaff, and probably other places. I just want to thank her for her work and working with all of the, 4-H, from 4-H to farming, to all the programs that has been brought up. This is a, um, a partnership with the University of Arizona. We have the extension program, or U of A, um, uh, is the program that we have in our county. And I just want to just recognize her and thank her for her work that she's done. We've all enjoyed working with her, and I know that communities have done that have really appreciated her work and the team that she's established. And I know they're on a shoestring budget, but they really do a lot. So I just want to thank her for her work and just recognize her work. With that, I'm gonna just bring up just a couple of projects that we have, and that we're working on, and probably next time I will be able to provide more. But this time I'm just gonna say that tomorrow, I'm the RAC chair, which is the NACO Rural Action Caucus chair. And there's about 70% of counties out of the 33,000, over 3,000 counties that are rural counties, and I chair that caucus. And we have a meeting tomorrow, and the main thing on the agenda is just an update on the farm bill. We're all very interested in the rural counties, on the rural, all the counties have been working to get that the farm bill updated, and also to get it approved, and we're hoping that will take place here soon. So we have that on the agenda tomorrow, so just let you know, you all know that. We have also, we continue to work, and I want to thank our health department, Michelle and Eve and Kim, for helping us with the critical management coordination meetings. This is a meeting that that grew out of the incident that happened in Cameron. People were there was shooting that took place. It was considered in the legal term as a domestic violence, but it impacted the whole community, as well as surrounding communities to Coal Mine, Tuba City, upper and lower village of Monkopi, and really extended, because we're just really close knitted community out there. So we put this program together so that we can figure out how do services work together. Tribes are sovereign communities, and not all, we can't just go in there and just start, we can't, our sheriff just can't go there and just start doing things. So we've been really trying to see how we can do a better job of partnering with our tribal partners, Navajo Nation, Hopi Tribe, and San Juan Southern Paiute. So this coordination meeting is to see how we can better work together and respond to incidents, whether it's on tribal lands or off tribal lands. So we have a number of agencies that have been very involved, from Guidance Center, the Health Department, the sheriffs, and many nonprofit organizations, the state agencies, And what we're trying to do is do, if there's an MOU that's needed to be able, or IGAs, which is just really agreements to be able to um, work and do their job on tribal lands. That's what we're really looking at. Our next meeting is on September 21st, I think. You remember? So I'm not very good with dates here, but it is coming up. Oh, Deb says it's the 17th. So thank goodness for Deb. Thank you, Deb. So we have our September 22nd. That's when our meeting is. That's when we're gonna have a Twin Arrows. We're working with the Navajo Nation President's Office. We work with the president very closely on this particular project because it has to do with its departments, its staff, and its sovereign government, as well as nonprofit agencies, the state agencies, and the counties. There's Apache, Navajo, and Coconino County. We're covering all of that. It's grown. So we're having it at Twin Arrows on September 17th. We have our Western Agency Council meeting on this Saturday on the 14th, and we are on the agenda, the county, so we are always on that agenda. Just want to, but I want to make sure that we have our proposition presentation on the agenda as a separate item. So that makes a big difference. Then on September 29th, we have the Aaron White Tribal Stomp at the amphitheater. This one we worked with, I worked with Aaron several years ago, and we were trying to work to do all Native American concert, all the different bands that can come. This is the one that has been put together. I want to thank the amphitheater, Kelly, Pepsi Amphitheater from there. Kelly's been really working on this, and it's been, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So we like to invite everyone to come out. We'll send an email out on that, and that's come together really well. I want to thank Aaron White. He's really passionate in bringing people together and really helping out the bands. We have our October 25th and 26th Navajo Bridge Party that happens every year, except last year at the Marble Canyon. And it's right over the Colorado River. We invite everyone October 28th to the 30th. We're organizing the Canyons Virgin Beneath the Stars Outdoor Recreation Summit. We're really excited about how that's turning out, and we really want to thank county manager and all of the staff that are involved in this, and as well as the community. We have our National Counties Native American County Leaders Association meeting on September 12th. And that's another one that we started. And the presentation is going to be provided by FEMA, presenting on the Asian American, Native Alaskan, and Pacific Islanders community at risk disasters. And so we are really partnered throughout, from Alaska to Hawaii. My co-chair is from Maui, Taja. And so we are organized. We have this meeting, and we'll be having it on September 12th. And we're doing a FEMA, and we're preparing for the legislative conference. So we want to make sure that we're promoting the Pepsi Amphitheater event as well. We met with we also have some just issues within the that has to do with, we have to work with Navajo Nation on all kinds of issues, from birth certificate to home site leases to DNA. We're in discussion right now with the the net legal or legal services DNA. It's a free legal service on organizing a meeting about probates. So that's in the works, and we'll update that sometime later when it really comes together. And we've been meeting with Mike Colonna from Navajo Nation to organize that on home site lease and probates, and the number of items that come through, issues that come through the door in Tuba that are brought up to us, and that's how we're putting these together. We also have a meeting, continue to meet on the abandoned buildings with the Navajo Nation. We're working with the Historic Preservation, the President's Office, and BIA, and those are the abandoned buildings, federal buildings. They're old BIA buildings that were used for housing the Bureau of Indian Affairs staff and other agencies in Tuba City that line the main street. We're in conference, we're also working with the Arizona Historic Preservation on that, and BIA and facilities. And also, this is the one that we're working with on the White House. I want to thank Greg and Eric and Keith on this. We've been working on this for some time, and it looks like we're really starting to move forward. And Bob and Anna's been very much involved in this as well. So I just want to thank all the partners. Just like we always say, you know, we can't do anything alone. So we are really excited about it. And then I wanted we have to really have a celebration at some point. We're closing out our Starlink accounts now. So we have distributed during the pandemic. We learned that the students were issued those little tiny devices. I can't remember what they're called. They were to, so they can, access internet. Well, with the lack of infrastructure on Navajo Nation, it was really difficult for them to use those for hotspots. They could not link to be able to use that for internet and do their homework. Well, just during that time, Matt Fowler, our IT director, had met sometime along the way with Starlink, and I also happened to meet them at a different place. So, and somehow we brought it all together, and we were able to start working with Starlink, and we have issued Starlink to students across Navajo Nation, and we are distributing the last few. There's only 10 that we're going to be able to distribute, the last ones. And I just want to let you know that. I want to thank the county for all of its supports. The amazing thing is that there is such amazing stories about Starlink. I think what we'll do from our office is to get some of those stories and get them out so that we can do a huge celebration on that. That really changed people's lives to be able to issue Starlink. When we first started, at the county, our board issued approved 45 families as a beta test in Tuba City region, and that went through. And then after that, we found out that worked. Then we were able to start working with the schools throughout Navajo, and it's been such a successful program. So I just want to thank everyone, and we're closing that out. Lastly, I just want to say that September 20th on Friday, we work with the Tuba City courts really close, and we're having our court in Tuba City with the Flagstaff District Flagstaff Justice Court, Judge Grodman, and we're going to have our municipality court as well, their Flagstaff Municipality Court that is going to be out there. So I just want to make sure that we're We are working on that, and we're taking registration for the courts right now. Just need to call my office. There's probably a lot more to report, but those are just a few that we're working on. There's a lot more but those are the ones I think that are just coming up right now. We have a lot on our plate. I want to thank my staff, Deborah Lister, and also just the county staff. We just can't do any of this all alone. So thank you so much. And then our outside agencies, we always work with whoever that needs to be at the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fowler. And my report would be, I attended the Metro Board meeting this past on September 5th, and we did a bunch of approvals, that was presented to the board. And Kate Morley did her presented KPIs, and we approved their new KPIs for 2025. They also did their financial update report that was done. And then they also adopted a calendar for FY25. And then also the application for the SMART fund that they put forth to us for consideration to ask for state match dollars. Those were approved also. And they also did a presentation on the West Road 66 operational assessment updates, for the board members there. So that was on September 5th. And then, of course, we had the county fair, very successful. I was there at least, 3.5 days, just being there. And my main focus that I stayed on was just the expenditure limit, talking to, and I counted all the people that I spoke with, and I was able to talk to 66 people, just talking them, asking questions, and then giving them information about what it really is and why it's important that we get that on the ballot and then approved. And then so also on September 19th and 20th, I'll be attending the Reentry Summit on Justice Involved Tribal Members. And it's going to be at Tucson. And so we have a lot of good presentations like Dr. Juliet Roddy. And then also the Hopi chairman, Timothy Nuvo-Yomga, he's going to be there doing a presentation. And of course, Catherine Williams is heading this whole thing on working alternatives, incorporated. And she's going to be sharing all the programs that they're looking at with the halfway houses and how reentry is important and how they're going to be wanting to, how it's going to impact the people that are coming in out of that. We also would have the Navajo Nation involved. And so there's a full agenda. Eugenia Charles Newton will be there from the Navajo Nation Council to do a presentation on reentry and, for tribal members. So it's going to be a long day and a half session. So I'm glad to be part of that. And so she's the keynote speaker. And then and then we also have a Derek Leas, Reentry and Community Outreach Coordinator for the U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Arizona, and he will be also making some keynote comments. So it's going to be a real good session on reentry, and I think 3 of our staff are going from here from Pathways to that same conference. So that's going to be something else, and I think we really need to get that under our belts, for the county here, because there are a lot of people that are not assisted in the right way, I guess, everywhere, I think throughout the state of Arizona. So they're trying to really focus on that to see how, they can help. And then also, again, meeting with the administration, updates with the vice chair, myself, we meet with the administration, just to talk about certain things that are coming up, the, updates on anything, everything. So that's what has been happening. But all in all, I think, like Lena said, we are involved in a lot of local things that are happening within our districts. And so I just want to say thank you very much for all the staff that are that have worked, and are working besides us, and then also the administration here. Thank you for your hard work, and Lindsay, and also Val, thank you for making sure that, our agendas are in order, and that, everything is going well with our meetings. So, and then staff, all the staff out there, thank you so much. And then, of course, veterans, we talked about veterans, and that's something that we really need to focus on, as a whole county. And we just had a proclamation here about diverse, I think there's a lot of planning that needs to start need and go that route. So I just want to say thank you so much. Any other comments by the board? There being none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Chair Vasquez to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Hess. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Meeting adjourned at 12:07 PM.